Fans, this is it. Time is officially winding down on the 2022 regular season this weekend. Only 4 games remain on the docket, with tonight's game and Saturday afternoon's senior day affair looming as the final 2 Saints home games this year. Suddenly the finish line is very much in sight, and with each GNAC team now qualifying for the conference tournament, it's of paramount importance that the Saints keep battling all the way to the very end in order to give themselves a shot at the highest seed they can get heading into the postseason. Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you for tuning in tonight for the penultimate regular season home game of Saints women's basketball. Alongside my executive producer, Sydney Henderson, I'm Jeff Lucero. My broadcast partner, Austin Burns, is in the building, but he is needed elsewhere tonight, so I am flying solo on the call for this one. This happy hour game pits the Saints against Northwest Nazarene in the first of 2 with the Nighthawks tonight. Men's basketball action between these 2 programs tips off about a half an hour after we conclude the women's game. We'd also like to welcome in any Nighthawks fans tuning in tonight from one time zone away. Very nice to have you along for the broadcast as well. We'll talk matchup shortly, but first, as we mentioned, tonight's game and the regular season home finale Saturday afternoon suddenly take on a very different brand of significance for the Saints. As of a few days ago, the Saints were kind of in the process of tumbling their way toward the bottom of the postseason tournament seedings. They had lost 4 straight games and 8 of their last 9, and it looked for all the world that those streaks would continue on last Saturday at Seattle Pacific. They trailed by as many as 11 points to the Falcons in the fourth quarter, and were still facing an 8-point deficit with less than 2 minutes to play. But that, my friends, is when everything changed. Let's back up a moment. Let's set the scene for you with some backstory. The Saints got out to a nice start against SPU, leading by as many as 8 points in the first quarter, but an Emily Nelson layup 2 minutes into the second quarter provided what would be the only points for the Saints offense that they could muster in that frame. They went scoreless for the final 8 minutes of the half. Meanwhile, SPU assumed complete control of the game, closing the half on a 19-2 run to take a 24-15 lead into the break. The Saints clawed back on the strength of a 10-2 run late in the third, but the Falcons answered with a 13-4 run of their own into the fourth quarter to push the lead back to double digits. Which brings us back to that 8-point deficit the Saints were faced with under 2 to play. Again, that's where the stage was set for some late game theatrics, and did the Saints ever deliver the goods. Tierney Dididonis, who 2 minutes before had connected on just the Saints' second 3 of the game, raced to the rack for a layup that cut it to 6. Moments later, she drilled another 3, which cut the Falcons' lead in half. And with just under 30 seconds showing on the clock, Claire Dingus forced a Falcons turnover, leading to a Tierney Dididonis runout and transition 3 for Ryan Clear, her first of the game, and just the Saints' 4th overall, that tied it at 46. Both teams subsequently had good looks in the closing moments, both in the paint, but neither could convert, ergo bonus basketball. And in the extra frame, the Saints just plain took this thing over, capitalizing on the momentum of their 8-0 run that forced overtime. They promptly scored the first 7 points of the extra session. The soul-taking 15-0 run put SPU on the mat for good, and the Saints came away with an exceptional 58-51 overtime win. Now, it's big for so many reasons. I mean, first, it's just plain good for morale. The Saints were listing. As was mentioned, they'd lost their previous 4 and 8 of their last 9. And late in Saturday's game, they were very much in peril. They were, to quote the Princess Bride, mostly dead. But they got themselves out the bellows and breathed some life back into themselves. They locked in when it absolutely mattered the very most, refusing to quit in the face of long odds. Now remember, this was the same Seattle Pacific team that had just come into Marcus Pavilion and flattened the Saints by 20 just 4 days prior. The Saints coughed up a backbreaking 17-0 run to the Falcons in that game's fourth quarter, which must have made that 15-0 run that they laid right back on them that much sweeter. But more importantly, could that have been the turning point for this team? Every season has one. A flashpoint, a reckoning of sorts, a test of nerves and guts and hearts that reveal the substance of which a team is truly made and coalesces to become that moment when everything changed. Could that rally, those late-game heroics, be the fulcrum atop which the Saints leverage the rest of their season into something truly special and memorable? If so, they'll first need to get through a very accomplished, very good team tonight that themselves still feels like they have much work to be done. We are gearing up for an utterly epic and wild finish to the regular season in the GNAC, to be sure. We'll take a quick break as time winds closer to the opening tip of this crucial Saints women's basketball GNAC matchup with Northwest Nazarene. And when we come back from the break, we'll preview the Nighthawks for you. You are dialed into the St. Martin's women's basketball pregame show on the Saints Digital Network. Welcome back to the St. Martin's women's basketball pregame show, and it is time for a quick look at tonight's opponent for the Saints. The Nighthawks entered tonight's game with an overall record of 13-8, and they sit in fifth place in both the GNAC standings with a league record of 7-6 and in the point rating system that the GNAC is using to determine postseason conference tournament seeding. The Nighthawks are an especially deep team. 10 different players average at least 15 minutes per game. And those same 10 players have each started at least 3 games for Steve Steele, now in his 6th year as a Nighthawks head coach. At the center of their offensive attack, the immensely talented trio of dynamic post players on this Nighthawks squad, each of whom averages double-digit scoring. And what a trio they are. Nyalem Thabak, Tegan Thurman, and Aaron Jenkins are averaging a combined 37 points and 21 rebounds per game. Oh, and by the way, Thabak and Thurman are two of the GNAC's most efficient offensive players. Despite each of them averaging more than 12 points and 7 rebounds per game, neither of them even averages more than 20 minutes per game. Overall, they're averaging around 73 points per game while giving up about 68.5. They're shooting 41% from the floor, 26% from 3, and 70% at the foul line. One thing that this team lacks, however, and really this is a big change from years past when the Nighthawks were one of the most dominant programs, not only in this league, not only in the West region, but really in the entire country, is a true threat from out on the perimeter. No one on this team is knocking down shots from distance this season on much of a consistent basis at all. Players like Avery Albrecht and Lexi Tubbs and McKenna Walker used to light up the scoreboard from deep for Northwest Nazarene. Well, those players are gone these days, and this year's edition of Northwest Nazarene women's basketball anyway prefers to grind and pound down low in close around the basket. But you know what? One thing that has not changed at all, this Nighthawks team and this program is still really, really good. And they come in tonight listing a little bit themselves, having lost their last 2 and 4 of their past 6. So they're a little wounded, which means that they're probably a little bit angry as well and feeling like they've got a little something extra to prove here tonight. Will this be a get-right game for the Nighthawks, or will the Saints build off of their good fortunes from last weekend and keep working toward a strong finish to the 2022 regular season? The next 40 minutes of GNAC basketball will tell the story. This has been the St. Martin's women's basketball pregame show. When we come back, we will set the stage with some starting lineups and a few last thoughts. Tip-off coming up on the other side of this break. And welcome back inside Marcus Pavilion here on the campus of St. Martin's University. We're just a moment or two away from tip-off between the Saints and the Nighthawks today. What really amounts to a much-needed game for either of these two teams. Northwest Nazarene currently in 5th place in the GNAC's postseason point rating system heading into tonight's game. Saints, well, they're in second to last. They sit 9th out of 10 teams right now, but have, of course, a few opportunities ahead of them where they could make up some pretty serious ground and sort of vault themselves back into, potentially anyway, one of those top 6 spots, which would keep them out of the first day of play-in games. Scheduled for the GNAC tournament that first week of March. These two teams have already played one another so far this season. It was Northwest Nazarene coming away with a 78-65 victory. They jumped out all over the Saints in the first quarter of that one, and the Saints just never quite recovered. They played even just about the rest of the way after that first quarter, but Northwest Nazarene kept the Saints at bay for the duration of that game, leading it mostly wire to wire. Well, you've gotten a look at the starting lineups for tonight's game. And again, this is a very different looking Northwest Nazarene team, certainly in the sense of what we've been used to from this team. They have been very backcourt heavy in their recent history. Very productive, very successful program. Steve Steele has kept things rolling over the last few years, but this has a very much different look and feel to this team. Again, that three-headed hydra, if you will, of Nyalem Thabak, Aaron Jenkins, and Tegan Thurman. Now, Thurman comes off the bench for this team. She's only started a couple of times so far this season. But, man, can she really light things up. She's averaging better than 12 points per game and only about 18 minutes per contest. False start on the tip. The Saints clad in their traditional home whites. Northwest Nazarene out here in their road black uniforms. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in tonight. 2 games on the docket between the Saints and the Nighthawks. It is Northwest Nazarene controlling the opening tip. We are underway, moving things left to right on your radio dial. Ball above her head. Jordan Pinson now rolls around the high screen. Emma Clark handles for the moment. Setting up Kanishka from the top of the key. Her three a little bit too strong, and Tierney Dodonis comes out with it. She'll steer it the other direction for St. Martin. Skips into the corner. Loops a pass all the way across court into the hands of Claire Dingus. She gets it back. Lauren Morris back in the lineup after missing the last couple of contests for the Saints. Great to see her back out there. There are a couple of players unavailable to head coach Christy Martin tonight. We'll get into that here in just a moment. Look at Tierney Dodonis get into the paint. Absorb some contact. Muscles a shot up and in. Our first bucket on the board. Advantage St. Martin's early. Pinson on the drive, kick to the corner. Our first look at Nyalem Thabak in the post. She sets to it. Opposite Emily Nelson gets into her chest and draws the foul on Nelson. The starters for the Saints: Dodonis, Morris, Dingus, Nelson, and Clear. They will be tonight, however, without the services of Shanoa Louie and Emma Reed, both inactive tonight due to injury. Thabak thinks about it now, steps into a 16-footer near the baseline. It falls off, and Nelson covers up for St. Martin's. Dodonis quickly ahead. Clear bluffs at a three, now drives inside. It's Emily Nelson getting loose. The left-end layup will go, and the Saints with back-to-back buckets to open this game. Remember, they get off to a very slow start over in Nampa the first time that these two teams locked up. Northwest Nazarene with 27 first-quarter points against St. Martin's. Saints never recovered. It was 27-14 at the end of the first quarter. It would, in fact, turn out to be a 13-point decision for the Nighthawks. Emma Clark steps on the baseline, so a very slow start for the Nighthawks. They pick up a little bit of pressure in backcourt. Saints able to get through it. Dodonis steps between two defenders Clear on the drive. Angles in, leans toward the rack, lays it up and in, and at the first 6 points of tonight's game on the board for the Saints. Good box out from Lauren Morris. Thabach able to reach over her and keep it alive for the Nighthawks. Now Thabach tries to step around Nelson, but leaves her shot woefully short. And back comes Adonis. Pulls up short at the free throw line, backs it out. Kicks to her left for Clear. Dribbles into a double team, so she hands it off for Dingus. Dingus angles back toward the top of the key. Now Adonis looks inside with 13 on the shot clock in front of the Nighthawks bench. Nelson, pass down low for Lauren Morris, sets her up perfectly. How about Emily Nelson and Lauren Morris going to work in the high-low? And it's an 8-0 lead for the Saints in the game's first 2.5 minutes. And Steve Steele would like a timeout. We'll take it with them. All Saints in the earliest stages of tonight's game. Well, 8-0 Saints, 2.5 minutes into this thing, and well, even my pea-brain can sort out the difference between the two teams thus far. Northwest Nazarene has attempted 4 shots. They've missed on all 4. The Saints have also attempted 4 shots. They've connected on all 4. A perfect 4 of 4 to open the game for St. Martin's. Thabach can't break through. Offensive rebound, however, for Emma Clark. She'll steer it back outside. Extra possession. Now Pinson steps into a 3. That one well off the mark. Another offensive rebound, however. That shot too strong, and another rebound for Emily Nelson. Northwest Nazarene with 3 shots at it at their end. Could not get it done. Now Dingus down low. She's triple team, fights through it, lays it up and in. 10-0 Saints to start this game. Barely 3 minutes gone by. How about the start to this one for St. Martin's? My goodness, Aaron Jenkins in the high post. Dingus switches to her, faces up. Shot won't go. Lauren Morris the rebound for the Saints. Couple of lefty dribbles, crosses the timeline and defers to Adonis. Nelson drifts out to the top of the key. Now Dingus eyeballs. 12 on the shot clock as Adonis skips a pass over the top for Lauren Morris. She'll try for 3 and bang it home! 13-0 Saints to start this game. They have not missed from the floor. A perfect 6 for 6 so far. Aaron Jenkins pulls up from 14. That won't go. Lauren Morris tracks it down. Quickly ahead to Ryan Clear. Pinson steps in front of her and draws the blocking foul. It's on the floor. Ball out of bounds to St. Martin's. Electrifying start to this game for the Saints. And a wave of substitutions will check in for Northwest Nazarene. We'll try to square that for you in a moment. Also checking in for the Saints, Eternity Reed, giving Emily Nelson a well-deserved break. Morris a little bit of trouble getting in bounds. Able to feather it over the top to Adonis. Zings a pass for Clear to the corner. Morris bodied from behind by one of those Nighthawk substitutions, Tegan Thurman. So reset the shot clock to 20 for the Saints. And Josie Matz will step onto the floor for the first time tonight, and Ryan Clear will step away for the time being. Reed. More trouble for the Saints trying to get it inbounds. Finally does. It's Adonis. Steps around the screen from Morris. Now gets into the paint, kicks to the corner, but traveled on her way into the lane. That basically the first mistake so far for the Saints. They have played truly flawless basketball to open this game. Meanwhile, Northwest Nazarene having all kinds of trouble. They have misfire on their first 9 shots. Here's another. Make it 10. Long rebound tracked down, but batted out of bounds by Cami Kanishka. So the Nighthawks have missed their first 10 shots to open this game. And they trail by a baker's dozen as we move toward the halfway point of the first quarter. Dita Donis reverses it back to Dingus. Has been quiet offensively so far. Now Dita Donis for 3. Morris the offensive rebound. Works her way into the paint. Now steers it back outside. Pass broken up and intercepted by Lydia Nieto. Down low, it's Tegan Thurman, but her shot deflected. Matt saves it in bounds to Dita Donis. And a foul in backcourt committed by Northwest Nazarene. The dry spell continues for the Nighthawks. That foul whistled against Ashlyn Silve. And it's team foul number 3 on the Nighthawks, who will pick up pressure in backcourt once again. Again, this is a very different brand of team for Northwest Nazarene, at least based on what we've been used to over the past several years anyway. Still, though, very talented, very dangerous. This just about the worst case scenario start for this program. 5 seconds on the shot clock as Matt starts her drive. Drifts toward the corner, steps around the defender, feathers up a leader, and it falls. 15 unanswered points for the Saints to start this game. 5.5 minutes gone by. A 3 from the top of the key, and finally Northwest Nazarene is on the board. Tegan Thurman drains the 3. And the Nighthawks, it took them nearly 6 minutes to get into the scoring ledger. They missed their first 11 shots, but Thurman, plenty good on that 3 attempt. 15-3 St. Martin's. Morris flashes into the high post. Double team collapses on her, so it's Dingus. Steps to her right after a dribble. Her shot just a little bit too strong. A couple of Nighthawks after it. And finally, it's Lydia Nieto steering it the other way for Nazarene. They look inside for Thurman. Pump fake, but traveled as she made her move toward the basket. And now Erin Jenkins will make her way back onto the floor. And Kanishka will take a seat. More pressure in backcourt from Northwest Nazarene. A near turnover as Matt's tried to enter to Dita Donis. Emma Clark there to knock it away. Matt will reload. Morris shakes free. Saints fresh off that huge victory against Seattle Pacific. Now Morris for 3. Good rotation on that one, but it just does angle away off the front of the rim. And Matt's called for the foul. That is the second on St. Martin's. 8-point rally in the final minute and 50 seconds for the Saints against a dazed SPU team. Caprice Boston had a wide open look at a layup in the closing moments of that game. It just did rim out on her. Clear at the other end. Falling down on her shot attempt as time expired. And in the overtime session, the Saints with the first 7 points in OT wound up winning that game by 7, 58-51. A huge step toward righting the ship for St. Martin's. Emma Clark knocking home the shot a moment ago for the Nighthawks. Lauren Morris to the corner for clear. Back to Morris. They look inside for Nelson, who's back on the floor. Under 10 on the shot clock as Josie Matz goes to work. Steers her way back toward the top of the key. Now fires a pass inside, but it's broken up. Intended for Morris. That's a ragged offensive possession for the Saints. Now Emma Clark on the drive. Jenkins along the baseline, cut off by Dingus. Steps back for an 11-foot fall-away shot. That won't go. Dingus onto the floor after it is tied up from behind. And the alternating possession gives it back to St. Martin's. DeDonis back onto the floor for the Saints, as is Ellie Salisbury steps on for the first time tonight. And Northwest Nazarene resumes pressure in backcourt. Clear hits DeDonis in stride. Nearly loses control of the dribble. Able to corral it near the timeline, and the Saints will settle things down. Matt's in the corner. Dingus along the baseline. 8-foot floater won't go, but she steps on the bounds trying to save it. So the Saints have gone a little cold here. They scored the first 15 points of this game. It's Nazarene, though, striking back for the last 5. Saints made their first 7 shots of the game, but have misfired on their last 4. Tegan Thurman in the high post. Thought about it for a long time, nearly traveled. Jenkins reverses and a 3 on the way for Kate Clark. She drains it. So Northwest Nazarene back in business. They have cut the lead in half. 15-8 now. Minute and a half left here in the first quarter. Now DeDonis sets up in the corner. She'll try for 3. That won't go. So 5 straight misses for the Saints, but Matt's there, keeps it alive, gets to the rack, lays it in, draws the foul. She'll head to the line. Northwest Nazarene building tons of momentum to scratch and claw their way back into this game. They had secured the rebound, but credit Matt, she stayed with it, did not give up. Able to strip the ball away. And a quick shot goes. And the foul was called on Lydia Nieto. That's her first and the 4th of the first quarter on Northwest Nazarene. Max, the transfer from the University of Portland. Morris after the offensive rebound. Nelson gets on the deck and is able to keep it alive. Rolls the pass back outside for Max. Finds Nelson back down low, guarded by Thabach. Cuts left, fakes left, goes right. Attempts the shot, and it's swatted out of bounds. Nyalem Thabach, a tough player to work around. She's 6'3", the D1 transfer herself from UC Santa Barbara. A Boise native, wanted to come home, play her college basketball. The final 3 years of her college basketball career, anyway, a little closer to home. That's DeDonis. Let's go from 3. It's well off the mark. Under a minute to play. Saints with a 9-point lead here in the first quarter. Aaron Jenkins angles into the paint, kicks to the corner. That 3 from Kate Clark, who connected a moment ago. Off the heel of the iron. We'll keep it at the Northwest Nazarene end after the alternating possession. Aaron Jenkins faces up on clear. First back outside for Clark. Now Thabach with it. Gets it back. Hands it off. Cutting into the paint. It's Aaron Jenkins. Pulls up from 13 feet and drains the mid-range jumper. 7-point game. Shot clock off for the final 20 seconds of the first quarter. Outstanding first quarter for the Saints. They have cooled off a lot since that 15-0 run to open things up. A chance to tack on a few extras here with time dwindling here in the first. DeDonis on the drive. Fires across court along the baseline for clear, but she was standing out of bounds when she fielded the pass. So 3.4 seconds left for Northwest Nazarene. Let's see if they can go baseline to baseline and convert before the first quarter clock expires. Good trap in backcourt from the Saints will keep them from getting anywhere near even half court. And that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. But it was the Saints jumping out. They scored the first 15 points of the first quarter. Northwest Nazarene, though, on a 10-2 run as we head to the second. Well, it was the tale of 2 eights, I guess, if you want to call it that. The Saints in the first 5 minutes of the first quarter just completely dominating this game at both ends of the floor. They connected on their first 7 shots from the floor. However, they've since gone just 1 for 8 from the floor to cool off. They're still shooting 53% for the game. But again, 1 for their last 8 after making their first 7. For Northwest Nazarene, they missed their first 11 shots, but have connected on 4 of their last 6. So that's what I mean by the tale of 2 eighths. The first 5 minutes of this game, or 1/8 of it, all Saints. The last 5 minutes strongly in the advantage of Northwest Nazarene. It is the Saints with a 7-point lead as we commence with second quarter action. Didadonis head down, surveying, looks inside, now finds Morris in the corner. Is sealed off near the baseline. Nearly an errant pass. Didadonis able to retreat and track it. Now she crosses over, steps to her left. Now steps back and fires from 3. Banks it in! Sweet tender mercies. From this angle, I thought that shot was perhaps going to carry him all the way out of bounds. Instead, it catches the backboard and falls. They're calling it a long 2 on the scoreboard. It looked like she had both feet behind the line. Now Thabach nearly dribbles the ball out of bounds. Nelson with some great defense. Ball on the floor, and a held ball is called. And it'll stay with Northwest Nazarene, but with 12 seconds on the shot clock. Stalwart defensive effort there from Emily Nelson. She stones Thabach in, near, and around the basket. Jordan Pinson to trigger the inbound for the Nighthawks. Morris with her back to her. Gets it inbounds for Thabach. Pinson comes to get it. Here on the near side in front of us. Skips to her left. Now Kanishka forced to fire a deep 3. It misses everything, and a shot clock violation gives it back to the Saints. What a defensive stand that was, though, for St. Martin's on Northwest Nazarene's first possession of the second quarter. So the scoreboard reads 19-10. I thought for all the world that Didadonis was behind the three-point line. Apparently had a foot on it, so it's a long 2. So they have the option of reviewing it at some point. Now Dingus. Morris from 16 feet straight on, and the Saints regain a double-digit lead at 21-10. So they start hot again here in this quarter as well, connecting on their first 2 shots to open things up. It's back to an 11-point lead. Pinson skips off the screen, pulls up from 18, no good. Thabach and Morris collide midair, and it's a loose ball foul whistled, I believe anyway, against Thabach. Now both players a little slow to get up. Let's hope they're both okay. Morris is up, so that's good for the Saints. Thabach taking a little bit longer. I think she's just got the wind knocked out of her and perhaps landed a little awkwardly. A foul was whistled against Thabach. Steve Steele doesn't like the call. But it did look like Morris had a clearer path to the ball than Thabach did. So she gets the hoop and the arm quite literally there as she's walks off the floor gingerly. I believe she'll be fine. I'm sure we'll see her again before too long. Now Didadonis circles back up top. Works her way around Emma Clark. Kicks to the corner. Morris will try for 3. Just love the rotation on the shots. Let go by Lauren Morris. It looks so pure on its way to the basket. Now here's Erin Jenkins on the near side. Her 3 too strong. Long rebound. Ryan cleared. She'll work it the other way for the Saints. Under 2 minutes gone by here in the second quarter. Saints with the 11-point lead. Didadonis calls for the clear out. Now clear. Drifts to the corner. Emily Nelson with great position down low. Has her defender sealed on her hip. And knocks it home. And a turnover at the Northwest Nazarene end. Didadonis wants to run. Has clear ahead of her, but her pass just a little bit too long. And a little bit too strong. It whistles off of Clear's fingertips out of bounds. But again, another strong start to a quarter for the Saints. They've scored the first 6 points of the second quarter after starting the first quarter with the game's first 15. 2.5 minutes gone by here in the second frame. Jenkins finds Thurman down low. Hesitation, moves. How about Emily Nelson and the effort we're getting from her tonight thus far? She's been all over the glass, playing great defense. And yet again, the Saints turned it over. Dididonis unable to connect with a cutter along the baseline. Just not quite on the same page as Morris was already making a move toward the basket. Dididonis trying to set her up in that corner. So back-to-back turnovers for the Saints. Still, though, Northwest Nazarene scoreless to start the second quarter. Can they convert here? Pinson on the driver. Shot blocked by Emily Nelson. My goodness. Nelson just piling up stats left and right. Dididonis. Now Morris kicks to clear. Nowhere for Nelson to go. Now it's Dingus in the corner. She'll fire from three. Got it! Claire Dingus and the Saints now have scored the first 9 points of the second quarter. And losing control of the ball out of bounds. Jordan Pinson just goes crashing out of bounds beyond the baseline. A scorching hot start to the second quarter for St. Martin's. They now have their largest lead of the game at 16, 26-10. Once again, the Nighthawks pick up pressure in backcourt. Nelson comes to get it. Dididonis finds clear. Morris beneath the basket, double teamed. And she travels with the basketball. You're not going to believe this, but the Saints have connected on their first 5 shots of the second quarter, just as they had connected on their first 7 shots to begin the game. Almost mirror image efforts here in these 2 quarters. It's quite uncanny. I don't know as I've ever seen anything quite like it. Now Dididonis the other way after another empty trip for Northwest Nazarene. Saints work it around. Now slow things down for the moment. Dididonis rolls off the Nelson screen. First left, then right. Now it's Morris on the drive. Skip pass for Dingus. She'll try for 3 again. That one just does lip out. And here come the Nighthawks. Nieto back to Thurman. Her 3 too strong. Several players after the rebound there to clean things up is Aaron Jenkins. At 4.5 minutes into the second quarter, Northwest Nazarene finally able to get their first points of the frame. Clear will leisurely walk it across the timeline. How about the heroic effort from Tierney Dididonis? 23 points, 8 of them coming in the game's final 2.5 minutes, of regulation anyway, against SPU. As Dingus's 8-footer near the baseline won't go. A senior playing like one. Just a few nights ago up at Royal Brom Pavilion. 2 more misses, but kept alive at the offensive end for Nazarene. Eubanks's putback won't go. She'll head to the line once we return. St. Martin's with a 14-point lead with about 4.5 minutes to play here in the first half. Well, talk about some of your all-time statistical peculiarities. It's just nuts to me. Saints opened the game by making their first 7 shots. Meanwhile, the Nighthawks missed their first 11. The Saints then went ice cold, made just one of their next 8. Nighthawks responded by connecting on 4 of their next 6. But the Saints here in the second quarter made their first 5 shots. Meanwhile, Northwest Nazarene was 1 for 9 to start things off here in the second quarter. Saints have missed their last 2, so they're now at 5 for 7, shooting 55% from the floor. Meanwhile, Northwest Nazarene just 5 of 26, 19% from the floor. That number is expected to tick up at some point. This game is going to tighten up. These are 2 very evenly matched teams. The foul was called on Adonis. That's her first, and the first on the Saints here in the second quarter. That sends Claire Eubanks to the line. She's good on the first of 2 free throws. Eubanks bends at the knees. Shot is up. It looks strong, and it is. Lauren Morris hauls down the glass. So 26-13 hour score, about 4.5 minutes left here in the first half. Everything flattens out near the baseline. Now Morris pops. Gathers the pass. Sends it back to Adonis. Finds Clear beneath the basket. Double clutch shot won't go. Clear was wide open there for a moment. Good effort from Northwest Nazarene to bother her shot. Now in transition, it's Ashlyn Silv getting to the rack, but her shot won't fall. Ball rolls out of bounds. Last touched by the Saints. Well, here's a good sign for Northwest Nazarene. Nyalam Thabak back on the floor. She and Lauren Morris collided midair. A foul committed by Thabak. But good to see her back out there for the Nighthawks. She takes the inbounds. Tries to enter. Instead, they work it around on the perimeter, setting up Nieto for 3. And Lydia Nieto, good from there. Just in front of the Twin Star logo. That pulls Northwest Nazarene back within a manageable 10-point deficit with 3:50 to play here in the second quarter. Saints nearly turn it over. Clear able to get rid of it. Now Adonis will try for 3. Looks short, and it is, but she's fouled, and she'll head to the line. Lydia Nieto, if I'm not mistaken, that's her second foul. We'll find out in a second. Foul number 4, Lydia Nieto. And it is. Both of her fouls just kind of head scratchers in this game. She did connect on a 3 a moment ago to pull the squad back within 10 points, but just running out of Adonis. Gets into her just enough. And it's Adonis to the line for 3 shots. Good on the first, misses on the second. And can't connect on the third. So 1 out of 3 for Adonis on that trip to the line. Silv fires a pass inside, but Thabak's shot misses by a foot. 14 on the shot clock as Silv holds the ball above her head. Now dribbles into a double team. Crossing over, it's Jenkins on the drive. Her shot won't go. That misses everything. The shot clock reset. I didn't think the Saints had established clear possession. Nevertheless, they come away with it. And a near turnover. Nelson able to corral it. Swings a pass to Adonis. They reverse it. Dingus. Now a skip pass for Ryan Clear, but it's her pass for Morris is taken away. Thabak looks inside. Tegan Thurman goes to work. She loses control and commits a foul. This has been a very tough quarter for Northwest Nazarene. Just 6 points in about 7.5 minutes of play here. As the Saints will cycle some fresh bodies back onto the floor. Eternity Reed and Josie Matz now back out there. Remember, no Shanoa Louie, no Emma Reed for the Saints, who are already playing the rest of the season without Marin Budeman or Janelle Sutterlick, both suffering season-ending injuries. So the bench very, very short for the Saints. They do get Lauren Morris back tonight. Now a steal. Jordan Pinson slams on the brakes, waits for some teammates. Hands it off for Kanishka. They bounce it inside for Thabak. Backs into Nelson. Good defense from Emily Nelson to keep her off her spot. Quick outlet ahead for Didadonis. Skips into the paint, bounces a pass for Matz. But nothing doing, and the Saints will reload. Here's Morris at the top of the key. Works her way around the defender. Off balance, Leaner won't go, and Thabak the rebound for Northwest Nazarene. Didadonis efforts for the steal. And a foul beneath the basket will send Kate Clark to the line. That was Josie Matz leaning in and drawing the foul. That's her second. And the second on the Saints here in the second quarter. Thabak will step away. Aaron Jenkins back out. And 2 shots upcoming for Kate Clark. Couple of dribbles. Sizes it up, lets it fly. Right and good. 6 of 31 now from the floor for Northwest Nazarene. 19% shooting the Saints and even 50% shooting from the floor. 12 of 24. Second free throw rattles home for Kate Clark, and Northwest Nazarene back within 10. Reed bounces the entry pass for Josie Matz. Now Reed able to get across the timeline. Defended by Pinson. Trapped in front of the scorer's table, but bodied and fouled. Jordan Pinson can't believe it. She's exasperated with the call, but it was just the 4th foul on Northwest Nazarene. So ball out of bounds for the Saints, who were in the bonus for the final minute and 41 seconds here of the first half. A fresh 20 on the shot clock for St. Martin's. Matz looks inside, flash into the high post as Morris. Turns, faces the basket, looks down low for Eternity Reed. Knocked off her spot. Dribbles back and around. Dishes to Matz in the corner. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Nelson takes the pass. Goes high off the glass and knocks it home. Emily Nelson has without a doubt been the MVP for the Saints in this contest. She has done a little bit of everything at either end of the floor. That shot goes with time set to expire on the shot clock. 1 minute left here in the second quarter, and the Saints back to a 12-point lead. They lose control, and Matz comes away with it. She's knocked to the floor, no foul. Able to gather it, hands it off to Didadonis. Saints can go 2 for 1 here if they hurry, and they're calling for it. They want her to shoot from the bench. Instead, it's Didadonis bodied up by Claire Eubanks, and that is the 5th foul on Northwest Nazarene. So the 2 for 1 does, in fact, come to fruition for the Saints. Not quite the way they envisioned it. Everyone yelling for it from the bench. Nevertheless, Didadonis, after Northwest Nazarene, puts her in the bonus. That's 3 straight misses, however, from the line for Didadonis. She's a little frustrated, hands on her hips. Recalibrates, leaves that one short, but it'll roll up and over the front of the rim. And the lead back to 13 for St. Martin's. They have never trailed in this game, of course. It's tough to when you score the game's first 15 points. Nazarene has gotten back within 7, but no closer than that. They trail by 13 here, with time winding down in the second quarter. A kick to the corner, a 3 on the way. It looks good, but it's a little bit short. But Aaron Jenkins fouled in the corner by Lauren Morris. So 3 free throws upcoming for Aaron Jenkins. Comes in tonight averaging 11.3 points per game. She's just shooting 18% from 3. She was a much better three-point shooter a season ago. That percentage Down quite a bit from where she was last year at about this time. She was up into the mid-30s, if I'm not mistaken. But this year shooting less than 18% from three, so that was a costly foul committed by the Saints. And Jenkins, good on the first two. The third one halfway down, but pops out, and the Saints, with a shot clock off, can settle for the final shot of the second quarter. They lead it by 11. DeDonis just taking her time. Down to 10 on the clock. Now DeDonis goes to work. Moves toward the baseline. Throws it back outside. And there's nobody there. Another errant cast. And that now the fourth first half turnover for DeDonis alone. They get it inbounds. Tegan Thurman's three well off the mark, and that will bring us to the halftime break. 10 points for the Nighthawks in the first quarter, 10 more here in the second. The Saints have played some outstanding defense so far in this game, and they lead it 31-20. Folks, we'll take an extended break here on the broadcast, but please rejoin us in about 12 minutes time for a look back at first half stats and a look ahead to second half action between the Saints and the Nighthawks on the St. Martin's Digital Network. And welcome back inside Marcus Pavilion, for what promises to be an abbreviated, very short St. Martin's women's basketball halftime show. It's Jeff Lucero flying solo here tonight, joined only by our steadfast executive producer, Sydney Henderson. 31-20 our score at the break. The Saints just playing sweltering defense. They have limited Northwest Nazarene to just 19% shooting from the floor, 6 of 32 shooting for the Nighthawks for the game's first 20 minutes. The Saints, meanwhile, shooting 52% from the floor. Now, with those numbers, you'd think that perhaps the Saints might be sitting on a much larger lead, but the Saints committed 10 first-half turnovers to just 5 for Northwest Nazarene. Saints 3 for 7 from 3, 3 for 9 for the Nighthawks. Nighthawks sank 5 of 7 first-half free throws. Saints just 2 for 6 at the free throw line. The Saints +4 on the glass, doing no small part to the efforts of Emily Nelson and Lauren Morris. 7 rebounds apiece. 9 assists on those 13 made baskets for the Saints. Tierney DeDonis and Lauren Morris with a team-high 7 points in the first half for the Saints. Really and truly, go back and look at the way these two quarters open up. Nearly identical starts to each quarter in this game tonight. The Saints red hot to get things going. They did score the game's first 15 points before Northwest Nazarene finally got on the board with about 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Saints came out red hot once again in the second quarter, while Northwest Nazarene was ice cold again to start the second frame. That's basically the story of the game, leading the way for Northwest Nazarene in the first half. Aaron Jenkins with a team-high 6 points, 5 points apiece for Tegan Thurman and Kate Clark. It will be St. Martin's basketball to open things up here in the second half. Ryan Clear ambles over. She will enter, gives a wink to somebody in the crowd as she makes her way over. Inbounds comes to Lauren Morris, and the second half is underway. Saints now moving it left to right on your radio dial. Remember those days? Listening to sports on the radio? I sure do. Dick Nichols, the voice of St. Martin's basketball for many, many years on KGY radio here in Olympia. Man, I miss those days. I wish we were still on the radio. I do like being able to bring the digital broadcast to you. It's pretty smooth as well. But man, so great when high school and small college sports, you can still just find them on your radio dial. We've got an extra body on the floor. It's a small child had come racing onto the floor there for a moment. Oh, but Steve Steele calls him back off the floor from the Northwest Nazarene bench. He was dressed in all black, so that might have been a technical against Northwest Nazarene. On the Saints' first possession of the second half, they're unable to get much going. Everything results in a shot clock violation. An early substitution here in the second half for the Saints as Emily Nelson heads to the bench, and Eternity Reed back on the floor for the Saints. They come out in a man-to-man defense. Now Kate Clark triggers an early offense three. No good, but an offensive rebound keeps it alive. It's Emma Clark tracking it down. She resets to Jordan Pinson outside. They look down low for Thalbach. Clear tried to cheat on the pass, but look at Eternity Reed recover at the defensive end. Steals it away, saves it back in bounds. DeDonis at the other end for the Saints. Finds Lauren Morris beneath the basket. A little secondary break action for the Saints. Northwest Nazarene just never quite got back into defensive position. Another near turnover forced by Eternity Reed. She goes to the deck. And the jump ball will keep it with Northwest Nazarene, but Eternity Reed paying dividends in her only 2 defensive possessions on the floor. Forces 1 turnover, nearly forces another, then comes right back off the floor as Emily Nelson is back in the mix. Well, that worked out perfectly. Not sure what was going on with Nelson. Maybe she just had a broken shoelace or a contact popped out, something. I don't know what, but nevertheless, she's back on the floor. And Thalbach just muscles her way to the basket. And the first points for Northwest Nazarene of the second half, courtesy of the 6'3 transfer from UC Santa Barbara. Thalbach, a quiet first half. In fact, that's just her first made basket. She missed all 6 of her attempts in the first half. So those are her first points of the game for the Nighthawks' leading scorer. DeDonis pretends to hand off to Clear, keeps it, looks inside for Morris, instead kicks it back outside for Claire Dingus. Clear cut off. Nelson in the high post. Morris steps out to get it. Shot clock winding down. Clear's 3, misses everything. Rebound cleared on the weak side by Kate Clark. And Northwest Nazarene wants to run. Emma Clark cut off nicely by Lauren Morris. She'll recycle back out top. Now Thalbach nearly travels with the basketball, able to get a dribble down. But it's taken away by Lauren Morris. Her quick pass ahead to Clear, picked off by Jordan Pinson. Jordan Pinson was sort of hanging back in the tall weeds. She handles here. They look for Thalbach inside. Posted up on Nelson. Nelson pushes her back. They kick it back outside. And Kanishka will fire for 3 and drain it. Cami Kanishka nails that. A long distance effort. It's back to a single-digit lead for the Saints, 33-25, with about 3 minutes gone by here in the second half. DeDonis calls for Clear to, clear out. Now Dingus pops out for it. Very quiet night for Claire Dingus thus far. Now Clear falling away from 10 feet. That won't go. Morris after it, able to keep it alive, and it's last touch by Northwest Nazarene. So the Saints will keep it, but only because of the active hands from Lauren Morris. That activity earns the Saints the extra possession. Thalbach and Clark will make their way to the bench for some rest, as will Emily Nelson for the Saints. Eternity Reed checks back in for St. Martin's. Reed's inbound pass picked off. Silv steps in, takes it away. Now it's Northwest Nazarene in transition, but Claire Dingus takes that pass away. The Wolf trailing. Cami Kanishka nearly able to tap it away from DeDonis. DeDonis will settle things down. Little horns look. Reed on to DeDonis' right, Dingus to her left. Opts for Eternity Reed. Tough defense from Nieto, and the Saints turn it over. So tough sledding here at either end of the floor. Great defense, just locking down for both teams, Northwest Nazarene and the Saints. Playing some superlative defense here through the first 4 minutes of the second half. Now Aaron Jenkins rolls into the paint. Her shot won't go. DeDonis hesitates, accelerates, finds Dingus in the corner, and the reach-in foul committed by Lydia Nieto. So the Saints now shooting an even 50% from the floor in this game, 14 for 28. That's a little bit of trouble getting it in bounds. Angles a pass up and over the outstretched hands of Nieto into those of DeDonis. Reed looks inside for Morris. Instead, kicks it back to Matz. Now it's Dingus. A long 2 on the way. Well short. Dingus after it. Can't get it to it. And Kanishka brings it the other way. They've got numbers, do the Nighthawks. A near steal for Tierney. And she forces the turnover at the Nighthawks' end. Well, does she? They're going to talk things over. And in the end, we've got an overrule from the trail official. That will keep it at the Northwest Nazarene end with 24 showing on the shot clock. And Jordan Pinson set to do the honors. Kicks it quickly to Silver. Shot won't go, but she's fouled by Eternity Reed, and she will head to the line. Don't adjust your screens, folks. That was Saints basketball, men's basketball player Tyke Thompson walking in front of our camera. We will see men's basketball between these two programs coming up about 30 minutes after the conclusion of our game. It's a good one, 33-25 our score. make it 33-26 as Silv knocks home the first of 2 free throws. This is the closest that Northwest Nazarene has been since the start of the second quarter. Silv's second free throw, no good. And the board ripped down by Lauren Morris. And she'll push it ahead and into the hands of DeDonis at the Saints end. DeDonis right in front of Christy Martin, leaning against the scorer's table. Leaves it for Matz. She drives, pulls up, shot will fall. Josie Matz with a couple of righty dribbles, pulls up right in front of the defender and knocks home the 8-foot leaner. Rolling into the paint, handing it off inside. It's Thurman to Jenkins. Nice little 2-man game. And the Nighthawks answer back. DeDonis rolls off the Morris screen. Switch. Was Morris a mismatch? Now it's Dingus. Nearly steps on the baseline. Recycles back to Lauren Morris, guarded by Silv. DeDonis steps between 2 defenders, slips right through, and knocks home a nearly carbon copy shot that we just saw from Max. Had a little extra mustard on it as she was able to wheel between defenders, and the Nighthawks turn it over at the other end. Well, a moment ago, things were really slowing down at the offensive end for both of these teams, but things ticking back up at the offensive end for both teams. And I think we should be at immediate timeout, and there it finally is. Yes, indeedy. We will take a break, but it's the Saints still with a wire-to-wire lead. At this point, it sits at 37-28. The Saints have never trailed in this game. They've got a 9-point lead and possession. Northwest Nazarene looks like they intend to pick up backcourt pressure once again. It has worked off and on for them here throughout the evening. It has certainly disrupted the flow of the Saints offense. DeDonis dribbles into a double team, but able to skip a pass along the sideline into the hands of Matz. Matz wide open in the corner. Instead, they reverse it for Dingus. Now Matz gets it back, bluffs it a 3, switches right to left. 10 on the shot clock. Picks up her dribble, finds Nelson in the high post. Looks inside, now kicks to the corner. DeDonis on the drive. Steps between defenders, able to lay it home. What a move from Tierney DeDonis. And the Saints push it back to a double-digit lead, 39-28 with exactly 4 to go in the third. Claire Eubanks at the other end. Her shot rattles off. Nelson after it, tangles on the floor for the basketball with Erin Jenkins. And the alternating possession gives it right back to the Saints. Another hustle play from Emily Nelson. We've seen a bunch of those from her tonight, as well as from Lauren Morris. Those two players have really carried the water, although DeDonis is really starting to turn things on here in the third quarter. Matz accepts the inbounds. Finds Eternity Reed, who brings it across. Reed between the circles. Now Ryan Clear with it. It's been a quiet night for her as well. Dingus in the corner, double team. Well, it's a defensive switch anyway. She'll bring it back out, and she's fouled. Erin Jenkins just got in a little bit too snug. Commits the foul. That's the third here in the third quarter on Northwest Nazarene. And that is just the first on Jenkins, the third leading scorer on this Nighthawks team. Clear to inbound in front of DeDonis sitting on the bench. Gets it to Nelson, gets it back. Huge screen from Nelson. Kicks to the corner, and Claire Dingus fires home a three. Make it a long two, according to the scoreboard anyway. How about that screen from Emily Nelson, absolutely leveling a Northwest Nazarene defender. I mean, cleaned her out. Oh, my goodness. Silva on the drive, commits the offensive foul. It looked for all the world like they were going to call that on St. Martin's. It did look like an offensive foul from up here. Steve Steele doesn't like the call. But the Saints now with back-to-back hoops. And they force the turnover off the offensive foul. 3 minutes to play here in the third. Matt skips into the lane. Kicks back outside for Eternity Reed. Now Matz. Looked off the defender. Had clear beneath the basket. I actually like the move, but she winds up taking the extra step. And the turnover gives it right back to Northwest Nazarene. Saints have done a fantastic job of answering every slight little run that Northwest Nazarene has tried to string together. Good defense here from Eternity Reed, but better offense from the Nighthawks. Aaron Jenkins leans into Reed, draws the foul, knocks down the shot, and she'll head to the line for an and one opportunity. Reed will step away after committing her second foul. It's the second on the Saints here in the third. Morris back on the floor for St. Martin's. Fresh bodies on the floor as well for Nazarene. Jenkins, a 71% foul shooter on the season. She's 2 for 3 at the line so far tonight. Sizes this one up, it's too strong. Good box out from Nelson. Another rebound for Emily Nelson. That's number 8 on the night for her. Tied for team high honors with the woman holding the basketball right now, Lauren Morris. They work it inside for Nelson. Double team collapses on her. They strip it away, but it rolls out of bounds. Last touch by the Nighthawks. So keep it at the Saints end with 18 on the shot clock. DeDonis back on the floor. Dingus gets a blow. Dingus played all 45 minutes against Seattle Pacific on Saturday. All 45 minutes, played without a break. Gets one here. All 40 minutes of regulation, all 5 of overtime. Dingus was on the floor for every second of the game. Now Nelson in the high post. Controls the pass, gets to the rack, and leans in and lays it home. Emily Nelson's going to have a double-double before this night is through. Matz clears at the other end. DeDonis on the run out. Sneaks across the timeline and slows things down. Backs out here on the near side. Smile stretched across DeDonis' face as she drifts to her left out near the timeline. Between the circles, 10 on the shot clock goes to work. Cuts to her right, angles around a double screen, spins toward the paint, tries to hand it off for Emily Nelson, throws it away. Morris after it, as is Kate Clark there for Northwest Nazarene. They're able to keep possession, but 2 seconds showing on the shot clock. The Saints don't realize they've got possession. Well, there's all kinds of confusion on the floor. The possession arrow actually does favor Northwest Nazarene. Apparently, anyway. Well, confusion reigns supreme. Whatever. Northwest Nazarene with the basketball. Minute 20 to play. They now trail by 13. Kanishka handles. Guarded by DeDonis. Defers for Clark. Now Pinson reverses it. Sets up Clark for 3. Too short. Rebound tracked down by Kate Clark. They whip a pass inside. Look at the cutter. Emma Clark. Beautiful play and finish from Emma Clark. Great pass as well from Jordan Pinson. As Clark flashes free under the basket. 43-32 the score. Saints can go 2 for 1 if they hustle. DeDonis out near the timeline. Morris and Dingus come out. Skips around the Morris screen. Got to go quickly for the 2-for-1. Here's clear. Pulls up. Now hands it back to Dingus. She'll fire from 18. Got it! Mid-range jump shot for Claire Dingus will go. At about a 5-second differential on the shot clock and the game clock. A near travel there from Erin Jenkins. Keeps her feet. Now Pinson wants to drive. Kicks to the corner. They set up Kanishka for 3, and she drains it. Cammie Kanishka draws Northwest Nazarene back within 10. 10 seconds on the game clock. Shot clock off for these final moments of the third. DeDonis picks up her dribble, fires it inside for clear. She'll pull up from there. Got it! How about the patience and composure from the Saints? DeDonis and Ryan Clear walk back toward the bench, arm in arm. The Saints continue to control this game. They lead it by 12 as we head to the fourth. "30 minutes down, 10 yet to play." The Saints have never trailed in this game. They opened by scoring the first 15 points of this game, and they head into the fourth quarter with a 12-point lead here at home inside Marcus Pavilion. Jeff Lucero here with you for the final 10 minutes of this contest. Saints continuing to shoot an astounding 57% from the floor. How about that? 20 of 35 shooting for the Saints. A very balanced attack for St. Martin's here tonight. DeDonis leads all scorers with 11 points. 9 points for Lauren Moore. She's got 8 rebounds and 8 boards as well. There are 8 points and 8 rebounds for Emily Nelson as well. Those two players each threatening double figures here this evening. And it will be DeDonis to inbound for the Saints here in the fourth quarter. She's daps up a fan not once but twice. Accepts the ball from the referee. Inbounds to Max. And fourth quarter action rolls on from here. Max. Morris faces up, has her dribble if she needs it. Instead, her pass nearly intercepted, and the Saints do turn it over. DeDonis poked in the eye, and it's Lydia Nieto all alone at the other end. So the Saints turn it over on their first possession of the frame. And DeDonis got perhaps more than just poked in the eye. She appears perhaps to a little nosebleed there. So that was more than, yeah, there was contact clearly. And she'll head off to be attended to. And in fact, we'll have a review on this play as to whether there was incidental or flagrant contact. So the referees will make their way over to the table. And they have posted up in front of our monitor to take a look at what happened there in the Saints front court. DeDonis being attended to, meanwhile, over behind their bench. We'll step away here for just a moment. Well, we're back inside Marcus Pavilion. The referees continuing to look things over at the scorer's table. Not quite sure yet what to make of the whole darn scene here. As it stands, it was a breakaway layup for Lydia Nieto off the turnover for St. Martin's. The referees now coming together. They'll sort it out, and then I'm sure they'll just pull Coach Steele and Coach Martin over for a quick chat, let them know what they have determined. But a quick game reset as it stands right now. 47-37 our score. 19 seconds into the fourth quarter. Saints have led throughout. The closest Northwest Nazarene has been, I believe, is 7 points. Ever since the Saints went on that 15-0 run to open the game. And it looks like the referees have made their determination that it was just incidental contact in backcourt, nothing malicious behind it. Didon is still being worked on over now at the table. So it will be St. Martin's basketball out of bounds. The basket, of course, does count. So it's a 10-point advantage for the Saints. Clear finds Nelson racing toward her. Now clears the timeline. Hawked closely by Silv. Now Matz able to tiptoe through a couple of defenders. Knocked off balance, but resets. Crosses over to her left, drives the left side of the paint. Picks up her dribble. Kicks it back outside for Clear. Nearly mishandles the ball. Able to compose herself, gather it, and knock it home. Ryan Clear with the answer. After the first bucket of the quarter is cashed by Northwest Nazarene. At the other end, Dingus, a strong rebound, and she's fouled beneath the basket for Northwest Nazarene off the errant cast. That one going against Tegan Thurman. That's her third, and she'll take a seat. So the Nighthawks elect to continue pressure in the backcourt. This time it's Dingus racing in to accept the inbound. Now Matz. Clear. Bumped off the spot. Now it's Laura Morris looking inside for Nelson. She's got her defender sealed off, but racing over from the weak side. Quick hands from Kate Clark forces the St. Martin's turnover. Clark with the steal. Now a three at the other end. No good from Nieto. Rebound, Emily Nelson. Morris brings it ahead. Spins around the defender. Settles things down between the circles. Crosses right to left. Reverses it for Claire Dingus. She drives. Defender comes out to meet her. Dingus tries to draw a foul, gets on the floor, corrals the basketball, and a timeout called by the Saints. Dingus a little frustrated at the lack of call. And this will become a full timeout. So the Saints continue to lead by a comfortable margin. 8:07 to play. Have to give Saints head coach Christy Martin a ton of credit in this game tonight. She had her squad completely raring to go, just champing at the bit as they rolled out of the locker room fresh onto the floor, hit their first 7 shots of this game, staked themselves to an early 15-0 lead, and they have led this thing wire to wire. She's also done a fantastic job You got to consider they've only got 7 players available in tonight's game. That shot clock should not have reset. That was an. Well, we have an official stoppage of play here. Dingus' shot did not touch the rim. The shot clock should not have reset. They are correct about this. And the referees will make their way back over to the table, I believe, to size up where things should stand. Dingus attempted her shot from about 12 feet near the baseline. It sailed up and over the other side of the rim. Saints with an offensive rebound, but the shot clock did reset. In fact, it reset all the way to 30. Should have just reset to 20 if there was to be a reset, which it did not appear there should have been one. So Steve Steele, I believe, with a very justifiable case that the shot clock should not have reset. And while the referees take a look at this one, we'll step away once again. It's still the Saints, though, with a 12-point lead. Well, the referees are done reviewing things at the monitor anyway. They're still kind of trying to size up whose possession it ought to be. And it looks like they're going to put 1 second back on the shot clock and award the Saints possession. But again, with just 1 second showing on the shot clock. And it'll probably ball out of bounds along the baseline, not on the sideline in front of their own bench, but very likely anyway along the baseline. So the Saints will have to draw up a quick play right off the inbounds. Just a touch pass shot inside, basically. With just 1 second to go here. Again, Christy Martin with just 7 players really at her disposal here this evening. Didadonis, Dingus, Clear, Nelson, Morris, Reed, Eternity Reed, and Josie Matz. Emma Reed inactive tonight. Shanoa Louie also unavailable tonight. And, of course, the Saints playing without Janelle Soderlicht or Maren Budeman, both of whom likely gone for the season with their own injuries. So 1 second on the shot clock. Didadonis to inbound from under the basket. Gets it to Clear. She'll fire for 3. It's on its way. It misses everything. And now we do, in fact, get the shot clock violation. So all that just for the same result in the end anyway. How about that? Nieto clears the timeline. Hands it off to Jenkins in the high post. She tries to drive around Nelson. Somehow able to extricate herself from the defensive Nelson. Off balance shot will go. And we're back to a 10-point game. Didadonis back on the floor for the Saints. That is wonderful to see if you're a St. Martin's fan. She had to exit in the earliest stages here of the fourth quarter. She took a shot to the face that left her a little bit bloodied. She's got some gauze, I believe, stuffed up one of her nostrils. Here's Clear on the post up. Kicks back outside. Didadonis for 3. That one just a little bit too short. And a loose ball foul called against St. Martin's will send things the other way. Matz makes her way back onto the floor. And Lauren Morris will give way. So the 5 on the floor for the Saints. At the back end of that zone defense, Matz, Nelson, Clear. And up at the top, make it a man-to-man defense, excuse me. Clear, Dingus, and Didadonis. Silv on the drive, cut off by Matz. Will pop from there, miss everything. Saved back in bounds, wow. Look at the effort from Lydia Nieto to keep things alive. She's able to corral it midair, slam the ball off of Ryan Clear's knee. And it will stay with Nazarene with 14 on the shot clock and exactly 7 minutes showing on the game clock. They get it inbounds for Emerson. Aaron Jenkins. Now a long three from Nieto, and she cashes it. Huge shot for Northwest Nazarene. They're back within 7. The Saints have had the answer every single time. Can they continue to do it here? This is as close as Northwest Nazarene has been since the second quarter. And a silly foul committed in backcourt. This one by Ashlyn Silv. That's her 4th. So she'll step away. Saints ball out of bounds. Clear with some trouble getting it in. Finds Matz now. And she'll bring it across the timeline for the Saints. Matz asking for the clear out. Instead, reverses back and into the hands of Didadonis. A little bit of contact there. Dingus unable to corral that pass. Lots of contact inside, but the referees say play on. Here's Nieto. She hit from there a moment ago. Commits the offensive foul. Tierney Didadonis stands her ground. Whipped to the floor, and now 4 fouls apiece on Silv and Lydia Nieto. So she'll take a seat, relieved of her duties for the time being anyway by Cami Kanishka back on the floor. And that's 3 fouls here on Northwest Nazarene in the fourth quarter. Didadonis opts for the screen to her left, now rolls off the Nelson screen. They look for Dingus down low. She just barrels over the defender. I think Claire Dingus a little frustrated. Wanted a call. When she didn't get it, she just turned around and just blasted her way right through the chest of Aaron Jenkins. And the offensive foul gives it right back to Northwest Nazarene. They trail by 7. Again, this is as close as they have been since the start of the second quarter. In the high post, turning and facing, it's Claire Eubanks. Nearly travels. Able to keep her feet. Now a little hesitation move from Kanishka. She gets to the glass and lays it in. And Northwest Nazarene back in business there within 5 with 5.5 to play. Quick outlet ahead for Matz. Off balance shot won't go. Strong rebound by Jenkins. And Northwest Nazarene breaks out of the pack. 5-point game as we near the halfway point of the fourth. Into the paint, it's Clark. Along the baseline now Eubanks. One dribble and defers up top. 8 on the shot clock for Kanishka. Clear right on top of her. Tough pass inside. How did that get through? Into the hands of Aaron Jenkins. And it's a 3.1 possession game halfway through the fourth quarter. Oh my, we've got a brand new ball game inside Marcus Pavilion. And an uneasy pall has cast itself over our crowd here tonight. It's just a 30-second timeout. We'll keep it here. Woo! Things are ratcheting up inside the good old Pav. Marcus Pavilion, the site of many a great game, and this will be the site of the GNAC tournament. Of course, the GNAC making a determination about 2-3 weeks ago that all teams in the league would now be entered into the postseason tournament instead of the standard 6-team format. The top 6 have always gone. This year, all 10 teams will go. So with kind of an overflow crowd team-wise, we've had to adopt a satellite location. So our Wednesday and Thursday games that first week of March will be split evenly between Royal Braun Pavilion in Seattle, home, of course, of Seattle Pacific, and the rest of the games being played here in Marcus Pavilion. Nelson finds Lauren Morris beneath the basket. And Morris cashes in. 5-point game. Cannot wait for the GNAC tournament. If all the games are going to play out like this, put it in my veins. Now it's Claire Eubanks spinning into the paint. Her shot won't go, but Nelson commits the foul, and Eubanks will shoot 2. So both teams now with 3 fouls here in the fourth quarter. Eubanks, a 68% foul shooter, sizes up the first and bangs it home. Saints have never trailed in this contest. They've got a 2-possession lead with 4.5 to go. Dingus here on the near side. Tries to find Nelson down low. Pass knocked out of bounds. Claire Eubanks with good defensive position. Able to keep Nelson at bay. 19 on the shot clock and Lauren Morris to trigger. Looking inside. Needs help, finds it, it's Dingus. Can she corral it? She can. .12 on the shot clock for Claire Dingus. Looks over to Christy Martin, gets her instructions. Saints flatten everything out along the baseline. Double comes out for Dita Donis. Skips to her left, gets into the paint, rolls up a shot, it's good, and she's fouled! No, they're calling an offensive foul! Oh, the referee looked like she put her hand down as if to say that the shot was good. Oh, my goodness. Whether or not that was the right call, the referee brought her hand down in a way that made it look like she was counting the basket and that Dita Donis would head to the line. Now Dita Donis ties up Kanishka out near the timeline. Possession arrow favors Northwest Nazarene. By the way, that now the 4th foul on the Saints here in the quarter, the 2nd on Dita Donis, so Northwest Nazarene in the bonus for the rest of the game. Kanishka leaves it for Clark. Down low now, and a shot up and good for Aaron Jenkins, and it's down to a 2-point lead. Quick outlet ahead for Dingus. Bowled over from behind. Foul on the floor committed by Aaron Jenkins. That's the 4th on Nazarene. So both teams now in the bonus for whatever basketball we get for the rest of the night. Might this game also go to overtime? Saints fresh off an overtime victory against Seattle Pacific on the road. Morris tied up inside, able to get out of the paint. Now Dingus from 17 feet. No good. Gets the offensive rebound, goes right back up and lays it in! 4-point game. 3.5 to play. Clark on the drive, pulls up from 18, straight on and buries it. Back to a 2-point game. Now Dingus in the corner. Rolls back outside. The blocking foul called on Aaron Jenkins. That should be her 3rd, but the team's 5th, so Dingus will head to the line as the Saints are in the bonus. Remember, the Saints also had a heartbreaking loss just a few games ago, I believe against Western Oregon. A game where they led for the first 39 minutes and 22 seconds, only to give up the lead with 38 seconds to play. The first and only lead of the game for Western Oregon, and it held up. Will this one play out the same way? The Saints have now led it for 36 minutes and 55 seconds, but they now find themselves clinging to a 3-point lead. Northwest Nazarene, it's a 1-possession game. They've got possession. They can get back within 1. Even tie on this possession. On the drive, it's Thurman. Leaves it inside for Aaron Jenkins, and she rolls it home. It's a 1-point game. What a play from Thurman to set up Jenkins beneath the basket. Saints just on their heels here over the last 4 or 5 minutes of this game. Everything kind of changed when Dita Donis was forced to check out. She's back on the floor. Under 10 on the shot clock. Saints a little out of sorts at the offensive end. Morris nearly loses it and does double dribble the call. And now Northwest Nazarene with possession in a 1-point game and their first opportunity to take the lead since the opening possession of the game. 54-53. Mats on Nieto. Now Kanishka drifts to her right, reverses back for Nieto. Steps inside the three-point line. Into the high post, now facing up Thurman. One dribble to her left, pulls up, shot rolls home, and Northwest Nazarene with their first lead of the game with 2 to play. Matt's in transition on the leak out, finds Dingus beneath the basket, and the Saints take it right back. 56-55 St. Martin's, here we go. Now Kanishka the long three, and she buries it. Oh my goodness. And Steve Steele calls a timeout. What a shot from Cami Kanishka. That one approaching NBA territory. A timeout called. We will step away for a moment, but don't you dare go anywhere. The last minute and 41 seconds are going to be a doozy. Before we jump into these last minute and 41 seconds, let's go ahead and briefly congratulate all of the GNAC all-academic players for both of these teams. For the Saints, Marin Budeman, Ryan Clear, Tierney DeDonis, Claire Dingus, Lauren Morris, Janelle Sutterlick, and Emma Reed, all representing St. Martin's on the GNAC all-academic team. For Northwest Nazarene, Annalyn Bonner, Emma Clark, Claire Eubanks, Aaron Jenkins, Cami Kanishka, Ellie Salisbury, and Tegan Thurman. Congratulations, ladies, for being so much smarter than me. I'm going to work for one of you someday, maybe all of you, who knows, but you are our future leaders. Congratulations to all of you on all of your academic and athletic success as well. Minute 30 to play. DeDonis handles. They look for Mats in the high post, turns and faces. Nelson posted up. Now drifts back outside the paint. DeDonis on the drive. Whips a pass to Dingus. They set up Lauren Morris in the corner. Her three on the way. Just does pop out. Rebound covered up by Kanishka. Nazarene with possession and a 2-point lead. Oh my goodness, Morris's shot was halfway down and it just did bound right back up and out of the cylinder. Oh, tough break for St. Martin's. Kanishka leaves it for Nieto, 10 on the shot clock. Back to Kanishka. Jab step on Morris, now drives. Pulls it back out, Nieto on the drive. Guarded by DeDonis, steps to her left, fires away, it's too strong, but the offensive rebound tracked down and a foul called on the Saints' Josie Matz. Make it on Tierney DeDonis, that's her third. But again, the 5th foul on the Saints. And Emma Clark at the line for 2 shots. Dips at the knee, shot on the way, it's good. Clark comes in averaging just 40% at the free throw line on the season. Good on the first, second on its way is also good. 4 for 10. The free throw numbers for Emma Clark coming into tonight's game. She hits the 2 biggest perhaps of her season. Those 2 giving Northwest Nazarene a 2-possession lead, 60-56. Will it be heartbreak again for the Saints? Right here just a few games ago, they had a game well in hand. They led it from the opening tip all the way until 38 seconds remained. Things playing out in a similar fashion here. Saints led for just about the first 37 and a half minutes of this game before Northwest Nazarene got their first lead. And they have just been so clutch down the stretch, these closing moments of this game. Northwest Nazarene currently sitting in 5th place in the GNAC points rating system that they will use to determine postseason seedings for the tournament. By virtue of the timeout, the Saints advance the basketball. It'll be deeded on us to inbound right down in front of us. Nieto jumping up and down. The inbounds intended for Dingus. Some contact between her and Silv. Ball goes right back out of bounds. 1 second comes off the clock. Saints trail by 4. Deeded on us to enter again. Clear comes to get it. It's taken away, but Morris takes it, well, nearly takes it right back. Thought she had it. Instead, here's Northwest Nazarene coming away with it. Saints have got a foul. Nieto will head to the line after Lauren Morris races and tracks her down and commits her third. The Saints have shot 55% from the floor in this game, but turnovers have absolutely devastated their chances. That was the 24th turnover of this game for St. Martin's, just 10 for the Nighthawks. Both free throws good for Lydia Nieto, and they now lead it by 6 with 30 seconds to go. Clear across the timeline. Leaves it for Morris. Drives in. Tough angled shot, well short, but she's fouled, and she'll head to the line. You don't often see numbers like this. A team shoots 56% from the floor. Meanwhile, Northwest Nazarene, 38% from the floor. Yet it's Northwest Nazarene with a 5-point lead at the moment. Morris good on the first. Readies for the second. Matz to check in on the make. Morris good on both free throws. So back to a 4-point game. Emily Nelson takes a seat. Josie Matz back on the floor. Matz, Didadonis, Morris, Clear, and Dingus, who will guard the inbounder, Lydia Nieto. Gets it inbounds. They find Eubanks. Back to Nieto. No foul given in backcourt just yet. They're able to get it across the timeline, but a foul is called in backcourt before that pass made its way over. So Nieto now to the line after Clear commits her first. Nieto, 65% on the season, and she rattles home the first. Good on the second as well. It's back to a 6-point game, and the Saints throw it away. Morris's inbound sails right into the lap of Nighthawks head coach Steve Steele. Turnover number 25 for St. Martin's. They led by 12 coming into this quarter. Northwest Nazarene has just turned this game on its head. Kanishka fouled in the corner by Didadonis. 14 seconds left. Just one of these free throws would make it a 3-possession game. That is the 4th on Tierney Didadonis. Both free throws good for Kanishka. Didadonis takes the inbound, races ahead, steps back, and now kicks to the corner. Morris for 3. That well short. Held ball between Dingus and Eubanks. It'll stay with St. Martin's, but now with just 5 seconds left. This one is nearly in the books, and Northwest Nazarene is going to escape with a hard-nosed victory here tonight. Dingus takes the inbounds, fires up for 3. That's off the mark. A rebound covered up by Emma Clark, and that will do it. Northwest Nazarene outscores St. Martin's by 20 points here in the fourth quarter. Wow. What a win for Northwest Nazarene and a very, very tough loss for St. Martin. 66-58, our final score. We will step away for just a moment, but I do believe Christy Martin will make her way up here in just a moment. Don't go anywhere, folks. The St. Martin's Women's Basketball Postgame Show with head coach Christy Martin is coming up in just a moment. Welcome back inside Marks Pavilion, where Northwest Nazarene has just knocked off St. Martin's in the first game of our doubleheader between these two programs. Women's basketball action was our first game. We're gearing up for men's basketball action between the Saints and the Nighthawks. And we are not going to be joined by head coach Christy Martin. So let's just very briefly give you a quick recap on this game. The Saints do finish the game shooting 53% from the floor, 27% from three, 50% at the line. They out-rebound Northwest Nazarene 36-29, however, commit 25 turnovers. That kind of offsets that 53% shooting number. Many of those turnovers, of course, coming at costly and timely moments down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Team high honors for scoring, Lauren Morris. Make it Claire Dingus with 14 tonight, 13 for Lauren Morris. One other Saint in double figures, that is Tierney D. Donana. She finishes the night with 11. Emily Nelson with 8 points and 9 rebounds. Morris also sharing in team high rebounding honors with 9 boards of her own. Northwest Nazarene led by the 18 points of Aaron Jenkins. Many of those also coming in the fourth quarter. Huge clutch shots down the stretch for Nazarene's second leading scorer, make it third leading scorer coming into tonight. The only other player in double figures for Northwest Nazarene, Cami Kanishka, finishes the night with 13 points, a baker's dozen. They finish the night shooting 38% from the floor, 44% from three, and 75% at the foul line. For the Saints, that drops their record of 3-10 in the GNAC and 11-11 overall. Their final home game of the regular season anyway is coming up Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. That game will be held right here in Marcus Pavilion against Central Washington. So once again, our final score in the women's game, Northwest Nazarene 66 and St. Martin's 58. Fans, we're going to step away on the broadcast here for about 15 minutes, but we will get things set with the St. Martin's men's basketball pregame show. Again, it's coming up in about 15 minutes, and I will be joined by Austin Burns on the broadcast for that one. You won't have to just listen to my stupid voice for the next 40 minutes of basketball. Austin Burns will make his way right back up here to his post, and we will bring you the St. Martin's men's basketball pregame show in about 15 minutes. Game one in the books. Game two between the Nighthawks and the Saints is coming up.